Hello. I'm going to be quite angry in this video, so if you're not in a mood to hear somebody getting very angry, then maybe you should find something involving puppies or kittens or something instead. I had a subscriber called Errol who is obsessed with Gaza. I'm not sure that Errol is one person, by the way. I have an idea he could be a collective or even a bot. But almost every video I made got a response from him about Palestine or Gaza or such like. And, frankly, I wasn't too much bothered by Errol. I get a few of those. It doesn't bother me. Occasionally he or they or it said something non-Palestine related that actually made sense. And as I always do, I engaged with his arguments, as I do with many others. But when I made my video expressing sympathy for the victims, especially the children, of the Guadalupe flood, and I saw Errol's response, which was, "What about the children of Gaza?" that was too much. For the first time in, I don't know, how long have I been doing this? 7 years maybe. For the first time in 7 years of YouTubing, I blocked an account. I blocked Errol. I suppose if he's that obsessive, he'll create another account for himself. And if he's a bot, he'll certainly do that. So I don't expect that my block will yield perfect results. But I couldn't just do nothing. This Gaza issue has stolen the attention of the world from all sorts of real human disasters. It's stolen our attention from Sudan and Yemen and Syria and Nigeria and China and Congo and Venezuela and Bangladesh and Mali and Nepal. Awful things have happened in all of those places, but I'll bet most of you hadn't heard of half of them. Be honest, have you? Gaza hasn't only stolen public awareness of these tragedies, but it's also sucked away funds from a lot of genuine refugees who could have done something constructive with the money. It's even stolen our politics. There's a whole new political party started up just this week in the UK, devoted, obviously, not to Britain and what's good for us here, but devoted to Gaza and what's good for a lot of Hamas puppet masters living the billionaire life in hotels in Doha. And as much as Gaza has stolen all of that, I'm not going to let it steal my channel, and I'm especially not going to let it steal the Texas flood disaster. So, after the granniopteryx has done her roar, I'm going to explain to Errol and anyone of his mind what the difference is between the apocalypse in Gaza and the catastrophe in Texas. So, I'm Granniopteryx. Please click like for this video. Please share it. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you want to contribute financially, all the links are in the description. Okay, let's talk about some basic differences. The parents of those children in Texas sent them to learn about nature, peace, love, and love of God. The parents in Gaza sent them to learn how to strip down an AK-47 while chanting "Death to the Jews." The parents of those children in Texas brought them up to have the ambition of being productive members of society and a credit to their Christian communities. The parents in Gaza brought up their children to have the ambition to die young in a blast of smoke and flames and blood and become martyrs for Islam. The parents of those children in Texas believed in a life in the hereafter that involved a transcendent closeness to a God who is their father and who loves them, and in fact who embodies pure self-sacrificing love. The parents of those children of Gaza believed in a Muslim paradise, which is the fantasy of any slave who has faithfully carried out his master's dirty work and who will be rewarded with harems of slaves of their own and endless wealth with which to indulge an eternity of debauchery. The parents of those children in Texas sent them to a camp that was intended to teach them to live morally and compassionately. The parents of those children in Gaza sent them to training camps intended to turn them into pitiless death machines programmed to tolerate such depths of sadism that when they grew up, most of the gruesome details of the October 7th depravities are still hidden from us for our own mental protection. It's an irony that both the Texas cataclysm and the Gaza ruin involve the word flood, isn't it? The first was an example of an uncontrollable force of nature, which in all its tragedy, enormous numbers of saints who risked and even sacrificed their lives to save survivors and to find the remains of the victims so they could at least be returned to their families. Hamas called their demonic campaign the Al-Aqsa Flood Operation. It was named after a fictional mosque and called into being by an evil which can be described only as demonic, and which was greeted not with self-sacrifice and sorrow by the Gaza population, but by an ecstasy of bloodlust. In other words, although I don't want to give the impression I'm ignoring the devastation of all the personal tragedies, and I know that the Texas event will leave a trail of broken families and broken lives and a darkness from which some will be completely unable to extricate themselves. In the end, though, the heroism shown by individuals in that catastrophe will demonstrate the infinite capacity for godly, self-sacrificing love that humans can show to their fellow humans at times of prodigious trial. And I have no doubt that ultimately a sort of peace will emerge from this awful event. Directly counter to that, the behaviour of those armed savages from Gaza showed the infinite capacity for demonic evil and towering cowardice of which humans are capable. And it also shows how the father of lies, to coin a Muslim phrase, will desert those from whom he has bought their souls and leave them alone and abandoned in a wilderness of annihilation. So, Errol, that's the difference. Now, naff off and bother someone else about Gaza because you have no platform on my channel anymore. And to all of you listening to that, my apologies. Till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.